Hey y'all, it's Alex and welcome back to my channel. Over here we have day 9. If you missed that one, it will be up in the top corner, and let me take off my hairband. So today is kind of a special episode. It's the Q&A episode, and I have my older sister Tori here, if she would like to stick a hand in to show that it is in fact not the same person, or I just have 3 hands and I haven't been showing you guys, and miraculously, it has better nails. So she will be asking the questions for me. I was going to have Jess do that, but she's at her mom's house right now. So today's color is sky blue or cyan because it's labeled as both here, and we are officially breaking the pattern, which is hilarious because today's prompt is pattern. So this is the idea I have for today's thumbnail. It's like there's a witch who is hanging up some fabric and cutting a pattern for a dress out of it. So why don't we get into it?
So why do you do the extra ones?
Because I set one line of tape along the edges to get the full 0.9 inches. However, it doesn't continue off the edge of the paper, so this would remain loose otherwise, and it helps to keep the extra tape there so you don't have the crinkling.
Gotcha, okay.
It
There
at least
goes. An extra
Q&A,
right?
yeah. I do still get a good amount of paper warping, but
Yeah, you use a lot of water though, right?
yeah, definitely. So before we start with the Q&A, I'm gonna just actually start, because if we start just on the Q&A, I won't start drawing for like a good while. So most of the area inside of this paper is going to be the actual cloth, and then I'll go outside of that for some of the details later.
So do you show them you already showed them the thumbnail. I'm done.
Yeah.
Complacently agree to my dumbness. Don't mind being roasted for the entertainment of your subscribers.
Good to know.
Ah shit, maybe I do.
So, first question.
Name something/someone you love dearly but can live without.
Oh, we're starting with the hard hitters. Oh, man.
If you say me, I'm gonna be very sad.
Yes, it's you, Tori.
No! It's an interesting question.
Yeah, it really is. This one's really hard to think about while I'm actually doing things, because I didn't want to think too hard about any of these questions while prepping, because that just kind of feels like I'm not giving my best answers then. We might have to come back. I can't think.
Okay.
Give me fuck. Jess has also just arrived back home, so maybe she'll be able to ask some questions in between homework.
Hell yeah, midterms.
The joys of not being in art school. Fuck off. But also the depressing life of not being in art school. I'm stuck on this question. We started off with a really hard one. My mind keeps going to like sweets, like very like ice cream and chocolate and all that stuff. Like I love it. I could live without it.
You're crazy.
Yeah, I know. I figured. All right, I guess next question.
Okay. Favorite mythical creature?
So I'd have to say that my favorite mythical creature would be Scylla, which is one of the mythical creatures from the Odyssey. The description of Scylla is absolutely buck wild. Like, it goes back and forth between being like a woman with multiple dog heads coming out of her torso, and then like the tail of snakes coming out like as her legs.
How old are you?
Oh, I am currently 23. My birthday is in the middle of April. So I'm an Aries Taurus cusp. Aries Taurus cusp.
I have nothing to do with Taurus.
Just real quick, I don't like whatever I'm doing here. I need to sketch out where the woman is behind the fabric in order to figure out where exactly I want the holes in the fabric to be. This would be another one that I might benefit from doing, like one cutout piece is the fabric and then a background piece, but I don't think I'm gonna do that because I want to keep this a little bit more simple. On with the next question.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, actually, you've definitely seen Rosebud. I think that was in day 8. I know I showed Rosebud. She's a very new addition to the household, though I've known her for a good few years now. She was my girlfriend's mom's cat, and we're taking her in for the time being. I need to do a different hairstyle than a bun. I just did that yesterday and the day before, and
The day before that, and the day before that. You like
Shush.
buns.
I like fake buns, but I cannot lie. The other brothers can deny. I'm gonna actually take my X-Acto knife and cut out the area of tape that is going to be. So I think the direction I'm going to be taking the character in the background here, I'm going to kind of base the person who comes to mind while I'm drawing this character is, I'm pretty sure her name is Bernadette Banner, but I can't remember her last name for sure.
Banner. Yep.
Okay, so there's a historical fashion YouTuber who I watch a lot from, and her name is Bernadette Banner, and I will link her in the top corner. She does a lot of historical recreations of usually Victorian fashion. I think she does more of. One of her most recent, she was making a chemise à la reine. That's what it is. She made a chemise à la reine, which is kind of a fashion that was popularized by Marie Antoinette, and it was actually quite vulgar at the time, so that is not anything of what we're making here. That's just random cool facts, and you should go check out that video because I really enjoyed it. She's definitely most of the inspiration for this character in the background here. Now I'm just making random fabric pieces. I'm trying to think. So we have two bodice pieces, what's probably a waistline, one sleeve here, a neck piece, part of a skirt, and then I need something else to go here. And this up here is a pocket. So I'm trying to like make an accurate pattern out of the forefront of this piece. So maybe this isn't necessarily a dress pattern. Maybe this is a pattern for a hood. And like the rest of, like it'll attach to this dress at some point. It could also be a cape, which is attached to a bodice, which actually would be really cool. Alright, I think we should maybe do a few more questions.
What/who was your main inspiration to become an artist?
So, my main inspiration for becoming an artist was I thought anime looked cool, and Tori and I found those how to draw manga books that, I mean, you find in literally every bookstore. Tori offered to start teaching me how to do, how to learn from those books, and we had, what was it called? Camp?
Operation Tally.
Operation Tally. Why was it called that again?
It stood for something. It was...
Tori Alex Learning something?
I thought it was something like that. I don't know for sure. The naming scheme definitely came from Codename Kids Next Door.
Oh yeah, 100%. That was peak KND for us, so...
Those
Yes,
were
it
like
was.
under your bunk bed, right?
Jess is gonna go try to find hers from Operation Tally. Pretty sure you still have one of my sketchbooks from that time.
Oh, definitely. I still have a bunch of mine too.
Cause,
Awesome having.
yeah,
Hence this channel.
yeah, this probably is something that people wonder about YouTubers, like, why did they ever decide to start their channel? I mean, like, that's a good question, and I started my channel to be kind of like a reminder of where my art has come from and is going. Because I have a chronic history of throwing away my art that I don't like. Jess is glaring angrily at me from off screen.
I tried so hard. I told her not to. I saved a few.
Turning into a hypothetical Q&A.
I ask myself those questions about every YouTuber I watch, so next question.
Alright, what's your favorite medium to work in?
I've gotta say acrylic markers, and specifically Sharpies. Like, I know I have a whole bunch of Copics, but I get a lot of anxiety when I'm using my Copics because I worry about using them too fast and then not being able to afford the refills. Whereas with Sharpie markers, they're a lot more accessible. They're also the first things that I really experimented with when I was beginning to color things. For the longest time, I only did pencil sketches, and then I started doing 3 color challenges with the Sharpies that my mom had lying around the house, so they're just my classic go-to. That line was not supposed to do that.
Surprise.
Neither was that one. This... I'm trying to narrate here.
Oh, sorry. I'm so used to responding to you. I don't want you so lonely.
Thank you, darling. I love you. Oh, that one was not supposed to do that either. What is with me and circular shapes that just do not pan out well? We'll just blame the magical scissors that are cutting all these out. Yep, that's what's causing all the wonky shapes. It's not me. Anybody who thinks so is, I don't know why I just wanted to say trying to sell you something. Next question.
Alright. What's the weirdest material you've ever used?
So this was going to be a story that I wasn't going to share yet. You guys will get to hear more about this particular project in a tour that I'm going to do about all of my pieces from my first art class that I took since middle school. Okay, so I don't have this particular piece anymore, so I won't be able to show it to you, but I used toilet bowl cleaner as an art material. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. Next question.
Favorite art supplies?
I mean, we already did favorite media. I already guess I covered favorite art supply with Sharpies.
Go brand.
Yeah. My favorite material is alcohol markers. My favorite brand is Sharpies. Which is surprising, but I know, but gotta love the basics sometimes. God, messing up all over the place on this cravat. Freehanding and pen. Definitely the way to succeed during Inktober, right? Alright, next question.
What inks would you recommend to use during Inktober?
I mostly use the Liquitex acrylic inks. And this is kind of assuming that you're going with, like, mostly black and gray tones. I find that the carbon black from Liquitex is pretty good. You need to layer it a few times to be able to get a good opaque black. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I've been honestly wanting to shop around a little bit more as far as inks go. I just bought a De La Rowney ink that I'm going to be testing out at some point. I don't think today will be that day. Whatever you do, don't do the Bombay India inks by P.H. Martin. They just get too shiny once you lay them down in a few layers. And that's the inks that I kind of have the most of, so that's not great. Just to be safe, I'm going to paint the fabric first. I'm going to do the fabric in blue, and then I think everything else behind is going to be in gray tones. So I'm gonna let the ink settle into the page, and then we will move on to the coloring process. I don't know if hiding this cat down here was a good idea, but I think I'm also going to put like some wall decorations real quick up in the background here. My cat is eating a bag. Might have gone a little bit too thick on this frame here, but I don't have any other pens to be able to fix that. I might go in with a white pen and refine that later. You know, I always start these pieces saying, yeah, let's keep it simple. I don't think my brain comprehends what simple means. So I don't remember what the hair looks like in the actual portrait, but you'll remember how I was talking about the chemise à la reine video a little earlier. I think that's what we're going to make this portrait in the background. Just a very loose interpretation of Marie Antoinette's chemise à la reine. Yes, I can't say anything in French without it being extra. Let's get into the watercolor. We'll actually go in with the watercolor first today, just because I don't want to spend... The watercolor is going to be the majority of this piece. I'm gonna go in with a pretty large brush, maybe. I don't particularly like the shape of that one. This one works. Yeah, that's about the right size for getting into all of these small spaces, for sure. This one should do fine. While this color is a little light for me, I definitely think that this would make a very beautiful dress. Very fitting color for today's topic. Ugh. I might have to switch over to a smaller brush now that I've done most of the big stuff there.
All right. What's your favorite show?
So I'd have to say that currently my favorite show is Breaking Bad. I'm rewatching it for the 7th time right now, maybe the 8th. And then a close second would be The Office, which I've watched far too many times to actually be able to count. Next one. Since I have the feeling that the coloring for this one will be a lot quicker than others in the past have been, since I'm already about maybe 60% done.
Do you have any tips for starting a YouTube? I want to start one and my friends want me to. With a smiley face.
Well, for sure my first tip is to start with what you have. The start of my YouTube, I used a light that I had in my bedroom. I used a table in my parents' basement, regardless of how it looks. Like, my first video, which I can link in the top corner, doesn't look good by many accounts. It's got weird quality to it, and the lighting is terrible, but if you start off small and kind of get used to editing yourself when you're at that level, it means that you'll be able to find out where you need to grow without spending a whole lot of initial money going through and getting tripods that may not be any better than a stack of books, which I actually did film a test video on a stack of books, because one of my favorite YouTubers, Graveyard Girl, her tripods were always like stacks of shoeboxes and things. So I'm like, I mean, you can use literally whatever you need to be able to stabilize your shots. And then the second thing I'd probably say would be, I don't know, just be yourself. I kind of tried to shoehorn myself into a formula in the beginning of my channel. I went back and listened to one of my older videos today, and I just sounded so bored because I was like, I have to speak slowly or else they won't be able to like really follow me. But I sounded like I was about to fall asleep, and I tend to be a very fast talker and I ramble a lot. That developed into what I use as like my, I wouldn't say persona, I just talk normally now in my videos instead of trying to make myself sound like I'm someone different.
Can confirm, this is like how she talks.
Thank you, Tori. I guess a third thing would also be to challenge yourself. It's nice to stay in your comfort zone with your videos, but it's always fun to see someone push themselves a little further and do like a 3-color challenge that really, like, you wouldn't have imagined being able to do it yourself. That's kind of why I started doing the random character selection stuff, because I was like, I need some challenges, and I'm figuring that people like watching challenges, so I feel like that sentence isn't going any further than that. That's my advice. I hope that helps. And if you do start a YouTube channel, you should definitely link me to it. I would love to see some of your work. Next question.
All right. What program do you use to draw digitally?
I don't do a lot of digital work. My girlfriend is definitely more of a pro in that matter.
Procreate, iPad.
Yes. I also use Procreate. I have I got an iPad Pro for my birthday a year ago now. I can't remember exactly how long ago, but I've done a few things in it so far. I'm still getting used to it. Digital art is not my favorite. And real quick, I gotta add in the back of this dress form because I forgot that I added in a pocket there.
Why are you so fantastic? Sorry, that sounded way more sarcastic than I meant it to.
No. That's perfect.
Okay.
Is there a verbal version of a key smash other than I just spat on my paper?
It's leaving it. Oh, it's so thin.
No, that's from something else. That is the spit.
Oh
Crap. There's some stains in this fabric now, you guys. Thank you. That's worse now.
Maybe.
Whoops. Thank you. All right.
You should probably try and answer the question though. So the keyboard smash was the answer?
Yes, the keyboard smash was the answer. I'm just being who I am, okay? All right, next question, please.
Confirmation. Yes, I am fantastic.
I have censored my sister for inappropriosity. Did you get the reference?
I did get the reference.
Thank you. Anybody who gets the reference gets so many brownie points.
We have one more.
And we finally have Jess come over from her homework.
Midterms! It's cool. How long have you and your GF been together? When did you start drawing? Do you have any pets?
I will start with the pets. Yes, pet, Rosebud. So Jess and I have been together for, okay, it's 9 years, and
Means this December.
this December it will be 10 years.
Decade! We're not that old. No, not that.
No, they already know that I'm 23.
Still. That sounded bad.
We're not that
I was
old.
just gonna say we're old, but we're not.
Yeah, we've been together for 9 years, going on 10.
Middle school sweethearts.
Yep.
Suck on that, high school sweethearts.
Yeah. What was the other part of that question?
Fuck.
All right, when did I start drawing? That was 6th grade, so I would have been, what, 10? 11? 11. So,
11, I thought it was earlier than me. I started drawing in 6th grade.
oh, then I guess it would have been 4th grade.
Yeah,
That
4th or
sounds right.
5th.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
so,
were definitely in elementary school. Now it's a good thing I was here.
Yeah. Yes, I do remember getting made fun of for drawing boobs while I was sitting underneath of a desk in 5th grade indoor recess.
You fucking lesbian.
Babe, I'm keeping that in. We're just gonna keep her legs simple and just have them trail off the page. She's gonna have really long legs. I don't care if it's cheating. I'm going to add a little bit of this to some of the paint to be able to do the glow texture around the scissors. This cat doesn't have a body. It just doesn't. Yeah, we're gonna add in a table. We're gonna have to. All right, that might work. And wow, my camera work is getting shoddy. As soon as I do shading on the lady's hair here and her bodice, then we'll be done. Oh wait, I still have to do the scissors and the bottom of the dress here. So I gotta bring the watercolor back out momentarily. Just kind of quickly go in here and do this bottom part. Sorry if my camera work is getting worse and worse throughout this entire video. So on some of the spots where I went over the lines with blue, I'm gonna go in with just a whiteout pen. I found that while white acrylic pens are good for some uses, I found that in the case of watercolors, I can't find any that don't pick up the ink underneath. So it's just a lot easier to go in with a whiteout pen. If anybody has any good suggestions for white pens, go ahead and leave those down in the comments below, because I'm always looking for more to test out. Especially since these whiteout pens are a little bit hard to control, because you have to press them down and squeeze to be able to use them, and you end up with big blobs of it everywhere. I think I'm going to go around the whole of the piece and give it kind of like that same mythical, well, now I don't like that as much, but just gonna have to continue it anyway. It's the problem about going straight in with pen without testing something out in pencil. Alright, so gonna go in and put some of this iridescent medium in this watered down ink that I have here. Well, watered down watercolor. Oh, that was way more than I intended. But God, is that pretty. Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed watching me work on today's piece. Tomorrow's word is snow, and I hope you're as excited for that as I am. If you feel so inclined, hit that subscribe button and check me out on my other social media handles. Thanks, and I'll see you all tomorrow.